Hello, Magic the Gathering players. I come bearing ill tidings. Now that all of the cards for the Final Fantasy set have been released, it seems that Wizards of the Coast hates Final Fantasy XII, the favorite main series title of the most oppressed minority, Final Fantasy Tactics fans. Can you tell this video was written a month ago? Fortunately, however, I also come bearing a gift to the EDH community. It will hopefully be just as well received as my last one. So, just as a quick refresher for those of you who might not entirely know how every card in the game works, vehicles are artifacts with the crew keyword ability, which says that at any time you may tap any number of creatures you control with power X or greater, where X is the value of the crew ability, to have the vehicle in question become an artifact creature until end of turn, with the power and toughness of the crewed vehicle being listed at the bottom of the card. There are some notable advantages to playing vehicles. For one, vehicles often have significantly higher power and toughness than their creature counterparts, and their abilities are designed with the restriction that they have to be crewed in mind, allowing them to be very efficiently costed. In addition, vehicles aren't creatures when they aren't being crewed, which means they are rarely a valid target for sorcery speed creature removal, and they completely dodge effects that modify their power and toughness unless they've already been crewed that turn. All vehicles are artifacts, which means that Artifacts Matter cards, of which there are many, synergize with practically everything you're doing. There are also a few niche combos that utilize vehicles with creatures that benefit from being tapped. Vehicles as an archetype are not particularly popular or unpopular, being the 39th largest deck theme on EDHREC, just between X spells and historic spells. And this is in large part due to the middling support for the archetype over the years despite its relatively unique playstyle. While vehicles are a card type, they aren't completely evergreen, meaning Wizards usually isn't printing support cards for them every set. That being said, Aether Drift did add a lot of very strong vehicles and vehicle synergy spells, many of which are present in the deck I'm going to be showcasing today. So, this is the deck where I hit you with a car, the Balthier and Fran deck that Wizards was too afraid to make themselves. And you can now buy it for less than what you'll pay a scalper on Amazon.com for one of the new precons. Does it work? No. Not unless you consider causing the graveyard player to crash out after you eat the fourth creature from his graveyard with unlicensed hearse working. And fortunately, I do. Balthier and Fran is proof that the Wizards design team is willing to consider a character having a gun as a justification for reach and not first strike. And while I applaud them for attempting to stick to the color pie, this card would be infinitely better if the one colorless pip in the mana cost was replaced with one white so that it can run the 51 cards that have the word vehicle on them. The card then proceeds to immediately break the color pie by giving all of your vehicles vigilance, which is for the exclusive purpose of allowing this card to not untap your attacking creatures. The main feature of this commander is being able to pay 3 mana for an additional combat phase under the condition that you attack with a vehicle crewed by it. Easy enough. Green gives enough access to ramp that 3 mana is chump change, and red is here so I can hit you in the face with the RMS Titanic. Some standout vehicles are Rolling Hampsphere, a 7 mana card so broken that I forgot to talk about it in my must remove permanents video. Curious, the Hampsphere agenda must continue. Weatherlight and Mighty Servant are the only 2 good value engines in the deck, and Horde Hauler is a card designed to give casual players a taste of what CEDH was like before Dockside got banned. You might notice that, in terms of pricing, there's a particular card that stands out. My only comment is that I have my priorities, and that having the anime art Chandra was more important than Seedborn Muse. The deck list is in the description. It's hard to say how expensive the commander will be on release, but supposedly you can buy the slightly less cool version of the deck for around $56 on TCG Player. Moxfield says it's bracket 2. I would believe it, but I've been wrong before. Considering the Final Fantasy X deck has a turn 3 infinite combo built in, I would hesitate to say that bracket 2 really means anything anymore. So, how does the deck play? Well, I'm glad you asked. I played 3 games with it and I lost the first 2. Hard. Most of the time, the deck was easily able to snowball into a very powerful board state by around turn 4 or 5, but it was then shut down by my opponents playing board wipes to stop the control player from spamming Accursed Marauder, after which point the control player started spamming Edict effects instead. The solution to this was to run more removal and more card draw, which really helped on game 3. I ended up cutting a few ramp spells because a surprising number of the vehicles I was running created treasure tokens, which were giving me more than enough mana. I suspect in a more mid-range focused pod, the deck would probably perform better. Unfortunately, just like myself, the group I play with does not mess with playing the game honestly. I also played these test games no less than a few days after the recording session for the Cheerios video, so I don't blame them for not believing me when I said the deck was high bracket 2, low bracket 3. That being said, I was able to threaten a win into decks that were significantly more expensive and significantly stronger than your average precon, so I'd still call the deck successful insofar as it was able to interact with the table and stand a chance at winning. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully.